funny stuff.
So, Coach, we were about to talk about free agency before we got cut off.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were talking about the finals and the way that kind of ended. Now, with all the movement you've seen in the offseason, we've seen. Let's say, what are some of the biggest moves that you've seen so far this offseason?
The Jalen Brunson one, because we're in Dallas right now, but
yep. And you're from New York, so.
And I'm from New York, of course. So, Jalen Brunson, what I like, I mean, is he worth that kind of money? I don't think so. But for the Knicks, they need something,
right?
And for Jalen Brunson to get that money, his play in the playoffs
was excellent.
Made him earn that money.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with that.
Yep.
Because, when Luka was out, he stepped up and his aggressiveness is what I think took them over the top against the Suns. So that's where he earned that payday. So I'm all right with that. But on the average, is he a $100 million player? No. But the Knicks need a name. The Knicks need something to, because that's the media capital. So they need something to talk about. I think that was a big move. I think the Gary Payton the second was good because I like stories like that.
He got signed by Utah. Who did he get signed?
No, he got signed by Portland. And what's funny is the Golden State gave him so much praise on how he played this and that. They had the money to match that.
Right.
And they didn't match it. So, I like his story coming from the G League, and he didn't want to go off his father's coattail and this and that. So he earned it himself. So I'm proud of that. I like stuff like that. I think that's going to help Portland. It really is.
What do you think about the Knicks getting rid of Julius Randle? They traded him to Detroit, right?
They did?
I thought they did.
For who?
I'll have to check.
I don't
Strike
know.
That from the record, if I'm inaccurate. But I could have sworn that Julius got traded to the Pistons.
I don't. Maybe. Wow. That's how much I'm out of touch with New York. But no, I didn't hear that.
And what do you think about Gobert to the Timberwolves?
Now that I have no idea what Utah is doing, because why would you pair them two up in your same conference? Like
him and Cat?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But they're good. I think they're a good complement.
They
to
are.
One another. Yeah.
They are. Because now Cat wants to. Now Cat could bring the defense outside like he always wanted to do, and Gobert could be right. I don't understand Utah on that one, but maybe they're in a rebuilding mode, the way that they really. I don't know. That was strange, and it's not like they got anything really back.
Yeah, I mean they got Pat Bev, some young assets, and a whole bunch of future first rounders, but I don't think that's again. Who knows? I think there were some rumors about the relationship between him and Donovan not being the best. I'm not sure.
Right. Ever since that, that's true. Ever since that COVID thing he did, Donovan thought that it wasn't in the best interest of the team.
Right.
And he didn't like that. So their relationship fell apart after that.
But sometimes I feel like teams are just out there making moves because something in their eyes is not working, so they just got to change things up. I don't know if that's always the best approach.
Well, you have to think about it. They've been in the playoffs, and number one seed, wasn't they number one seed last year?
It could have been.
And lost in like the second round. So, I mean, and I don't think that you'll get rid of Donovan.
Right.
So I think they had to make a move, and Gobert. At some point, Gobert is a good player, but you need more than shots blocked.
Right.
And at his size, you need an offensive threat.
Right.
So that's why I think they made that move, because obviously it wasn't working on having him, because at the end, the defensive side is great, but now what do you do on the offensive side?
That's why I still think, man, pairing those guys up, I think this was the best move Minnesota could have made.
Absolutely.
They're still long.
Yep.
They're still athletic.
Yep.
We're expecting Anthony Edwards to still get better.
Yep.
And you still got D'Angelo Russell.
Yep.
Right, as your fourth potential option.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting, man, what they can do. I know that there was also rumors that they wanted to make a run at DeJounte Murray. They had him high on their list.
Okay.
But they couldn't match what Atlanta was giving the Spurs for him.
That's a good combination. Murray and Trey.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
What do you think? You like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now Trey can play off the ball, on the ball.
Yep.
Ooh, I like that.
I think. Yeah.
I don't understand the Spurs on that one.
So we'll get to the Spurs, but I think that for the Hawks, you give DeJounte Murray an athletic 1-2.
Yep.
That can play better defense than he does.
Yep.
And then who can also now be a primary ball handler, and this frees you up.
True.
Because
true.
Trey struggled a little bit when the rules changed at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he did.
But this is great for him because you got another explosive guy.
And now you don't have to have the ball all the time. So now you can slash and get buckets as opposed to creating it. That's why I thought it was a great move for the Hawks.
Now with the Spurs, I have no idea what I mean. So Lonnie Walker, you see what happened? He was a restricted free agent, but then the Spurs lifted the restriction, so he became unrestricted, and the Lakers signed him.
Oh man!
So they lost Lonnie. and then they traded DeJounte
for
for Gallo, who either already got released or is gonna get released.
Oh, he's gonna get released,
right? So they got some future first rounders, but I'm trying to think like what was the intention behind it with Pop getting older?
They just wanted to rebuild.
But man,
well, he said that the Spurs organization didn't want to see his talent be wasted on the rebuilding mode, so he respected that. That's what Murray said.
Interesting.
He said he respects the Spurs because they was in a rebuilding mode, and they didn't want to see his talent being wasted while they rebuilding.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, I think
I was like, wow, okay.
That's great for
them. So they let him go because they said it's going. Obviously, they're saying it's going to take a while for the Spurs to get back to where they were.
Now, let's go on to the main course. We got KD.
Ooh.
We got Kyrie, and they still haven't been traded yet. So, thoughts on those two?
Well, here's the deal. Just because, I know it's a players' league now, but here's what's going on. Just because KD said he wants out, he just signed a 4-year deal, and just because he said he wants out, the Nets don't have to trade him until they get something back. And all of these, I haven't seen anything close enough to what is worth KD. And don't just trade him because he wants to be traded. If it's not AD, Giannis, Booker, Steph, at that level, don't call me if I'm the Nets. And the Nets need to hold that out until they get what they want because it makes no sense for them to let him go just because he said he wants to be traded. Kyrie, I would take a little less from Kyrie because Kyrie's a straight headache. I got to keep it real. Come on, man. Play basketball, man. You're a great talent. Just play ball.
I think he's hurt his stock.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for teams to offer a lot to the Nets for him because you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to get. Play ball. And only reason why I'm saying this is because just look at history.
Yeah.
History says what happens.
Boston.
With Boston. No. Let's go back. Cleveland, they won a championship.
Right.
He talked about LeBron like it was bitter, remember?
Yeah.
Then he goes to Boston. Says the day before or something, I'm going to sign a long-term deal or something. Then he bolts, right? Or was it Boston when the White House did the thing and he couldn't go to work because of that or something?
No, but it was. He said he wanted to be there long term.
He said he wanted to be there long term,
and again, he might have had legitimate reasons not to stay, but then he goes to Brooklyn.
And then he tells his other boys to come with him, and they're going to make this dynasty.
Yep.
And again, I'm not, with the vaccine, everyone has their, and I'm not going to sit up there and say that he was wrong for not getting the vaccine, but if it's a team thing, and it's your profession, so it's a gray area.
Right.
It's a gray area. He knew, and the world knew, that him only playing half of the games, it would be that much more harder to get to where they were. And it showed in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it showed in the playoffs. So at that point, do you stop and look at your career and your job, or you look at your principles of what you have in life as far as not getting the vaccine, Like I don't know if you heard when I'm on Stack, Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, when Stephen A. Smith was going at Kyrie, he went on and he went after Stephen A. saying, why are you not calling Kyrie a hero? Some people might think Kyrie's a hero because he took a stand on it. And Stephen Jackson was right about that. But what about the people who paying him? What about you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is he a hero to them because you're hurting a franchise by not doing it? So it's a gray area. It's like, and to me, to be honest with you, that's the selfish part. That's being selfish because you're at the highest level of basketball, and who think about the Bulls. Think about the Bulls. Let's go back to the Bulls. If this vaccination stuff was going on, do you really think that a player like Michael Jordan would stand for Scottie Pippen to not take no damn vaccine?
No.
It would have been like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
We know how through The Last Dance, we know that when Scottie delayed his surgery,
remember?
Mike was still referencing it like it was fresh.
Yeah.
So with Kyrie, man, he's always been an enigma. I have love for the brother, but in terms of looking at it from a team building or team leadership standpoint, it's hard to understand what you're going to get if you sign him.
Yeah,
you sign him to 4 years. Is he only going to wind up playing 2 years, a year and a half?
How many games?
How many games does he want to play? Is he really interested if he doesn't get to control things? And a problem with the Nets, and I think this hurts both their stock, but not KD as much, is a lot of the rumors and stories have come out that it was these guys who were really trying to run the organization.
They were.
Because of Kevin Durant. the Nets signed DeAndre Jordan to like $20 million.
I know.
And he didn't even play much.
I know.
At all.
I know.
So I think I actually applaud what the Nets are doing now, which is
Me too.
They're like, you know what, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Now we're gonna run the ship again.
Do it
right?
our game. So you can talk, tweet, do all the scenarios. If it's not the players I just named, don't call us.
Yeah, so it's interesting because now that a lot of the free agency signings have already happened,
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of hurts.
It hurts them both.
Right, like because you're not going to trade necessarily a new player that just signed onto your team unless he agreed that I'm going to be traded for it's a sign and trade.
Exactly.
So now who's left? Like the Bulls are interested. What are the Bulls going to offer? Other than like it can't be even just Zach LaVine. It would have to be Zach LaVine and more.
Exactly.
But then if you're KD, then why do you go to the Bulls? You're not competing.
You're not competing.
It's in Miami.
Right.
What's Miami going to offer?
And they trying to get all these other pieces. They don't want no Tyler Hero. And
they don't want to give up Bam, and they don't want to give up Jimmy.
And they don't want Kyle Lowry either.
They don't. Of course not.
He's on the end of his. They don't want him.
So
Kyle Lowry couldn't even get through the playoffs.
And then you got now Phoenix. But other than Devin Booker, like I know we talked about this earlier, I like Aiden. So if you center a package around Aiden, but it will still have to be Aiden plus more players and picks.
Booker. Or nothing.
It won't happen. They're definitely not going to get rid of Booker. I can tell you that much. Yeah.
That's it. So then, and this is what I'm saying. KD, this is what I think. KD did this wrong. KD and Kyrie should have ran it back.
I agree.
Showed the world, showed the Nets, let their stocks. If you even because they always playing behind the scenes anyway.
Yeah.
Play the games. Let's show the world. Look, we still on top of our game, and then
you could have made demands.
Because remember on paper everyone's talking about the Nets. First of all you got swept, not beat in the playoffs. You got swept, and part of the reason they got swept. Swept.
Yeah.
A superstar, 2 superstars. Come on, stop.
Yeah.
They got swept, man.
They didn't even I'm still upset that they didn't use LaMarcus at all. I'm not saying LaMarcus is a stud anymore.
Oh my God.
But they had issue with size. So why not throw him into the lineup, a guy who's got size and can still score?
Right. And look how long it took him to use Blake Griffin.
And then he actually had moments. He did well at Spurs.
I'm like, and again, Steve Nash is one of my favorite players.
Same.
But he's not a coach.
But the question is, this is why I don't have answered.
He's not a coach.
Because is it that it was his coaching that was poor, or is it that it's like the LeBron effect, and I hate to say it like that, where you really got the players saying who they want out?
Coaching that was poor. Because it looked like that his coaching style was whoever's on, go. Right or wrong. KD ISO. All right, KD's out. Kyrie ISO. That's it. And that's where coaching comes in. And that's where, when you're a reputable coach and a respected coach, if KD's off, you can call timeout and say, KD, sit. I'm gonna put LaMarcus in this and that. But he couldn't do that because KD and who's a champion, Kyrie, who's a champion. Steve Nash don't even have a champion. He's not a champion.
No.
He's not even a champion as a player. So how is he gonna tell KD or Kyrie what to do when they could, we're champions?
But he's a 2 times NBA MVP, brother.
Okay. But I think 1 year is in question. The first year, I think the second year was in question.
So supposedly there's beef. They're saying the beef between him and Kyrie started. This is all rumors. But there was a team dinner at Steve Nash's house. And Kyrie said, could you go get Kobe's MVP trophies and bring them down or something?
I'm saying. Ooh.
You could see that,
Yeah, I think the second year was...
Especially when a player who's not playing says that. You don't mean it like he's...
I know.
Like, you could see that bothering you.
Right. So, and that's where... And here's the problem. That's why they so-called signed off on that. That's why KD and Kyrie so-called signed off on that. Because, like let's say they hired even Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's not going to let them run the team.
Yeah.
He's not going to let them run the team. Tibbs, not going to let them run the team. You have to have that strong-minded coach. And they knew Steve Nash had no experience. So they don't have to listen to that.
Yeah, but this is where the players got to check themselves too, right?
That's what I'm
saying. We talked about this in the last interview, which has not been released yet, but where you got to respect the old heads, right?
Yes.
So a lot of these guys, they think they know everything.
Right.
Or they think they can manage a situation from A to Z.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to just focus on the playing.
And playing, and just you're the player, and let the coach do what the coach does.
And the coach has assistants, right? It's not like that there's just one voice. Right. The coach has got a team of individuals around him that are pushing back, making recommendations,
right.
so.
I'm surprised at the Nets too because Steve Nash hired Mike D'Antoni, who's a great.
Yeah.
I don't really like Mike D'Antoni
Right.
that much.
Right. But good offensive
But good
minded.
effort. So I would think that he would put some sets in.
I agree. Yeah.
I was surprised about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I was like, and I thought just like when Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
When Jason Kidd first coached, I think he had a good assistant.
He
coach.
did. He had not Scott Skiles. He had Lawrence.
Lawrence Frank.
His old coach
Right.
from the Nets.
See what I'm saying?
He put guys around him who he knew he could defer
Right.
to on offense and
So
defense.
that's what I liked
Very
about.
smart, yeah.
I was surprised that there was no, and you could see it in the playoffs.
And Jay Kidd's first run at coaching didn't go so well.
Didn't go so well
to
at
the
all.
extent where you're like, this might not work out.
Yep.
But now you see,
I was with the Nets at the time.
he made it to the Western Finals where he should. I don't believe the Mavericks should have made it to the Western Finals.
No, they should have.
I'm not saying it like I'm saying like it was shocking.
Yeah, it was.
It was shocking.
It was.
So kudos to the coach as well, right?
Absolutely.
But this is where Steve Nash, probably could have. But again, this is a benefit of hindsight. So let's see how they do it next year. But to finish off what you were saying, I think it's great to run it back. I don't know if it's going to happen anymore because look, Ben is coming back. Ben doesn't even have to be a primary scorer.
Nope, just distribute.
And that's it. And you got plenty of guys who love shooting the ball on that team, right?
Yep.
You got Katie, you got Kyrie, you got Joe Harris who's going to come back.
Yep.
The Patty Mills, I think he resigned.
He resigned too.
Patty Mills who can shoot the ball. LaMarcus who can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So Ben would probably thrive because he doesn't have to shoot.
He doesn't have to shoot.
And then he gets to do what he
And
also
he
does.
can play defense.
And play defense.
And play defense.
And
Yep.
that's one thing they missed.
And that's what they missed.
KD was having to guard the
If
best.
they had Ben Simmons in the playoffs, it would have been a different series because he could have guarded Jalen or Tatum.
Man, we didn't even talk about the Bucks, but you talk about the Bucks. If Middleton doesn't go down, there's a good chance that the Bucks make it back to the finals, and they probably win.
I had the Bucks going to the finals.
Yeah, they probably win.
Yeah,
let's
they
be
would've-
honest.
yeah.
Complete team.
Yep.
And you saw what Bobby Portis and these guys were giving them, right?
Yep. Did Bobby Portis leave?
No, he's still there. Oh, he did.
I think he left.
I think he left.
Yep.
He signed a nice contract. I forgot with who
I
though.
think he left.
Yeah.
Was it Sacramento? No. Or the Pacers?
It was somebody.
I think it was he left.
Yeah.
That's a big pick, but they still good.
Yeah.
Their core is still there.
The coach's still there. Yeah.
The core's still there. And
Yeah.
Middleton, that was huge. Him not being there.
That's the second primary scorer on the team.
And,
A
but
6'10" wing who can stretch the floor.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah. But and it showed. So if I like again go back to the Nets, just wait. Just because he said it, so what? Everyone says things. You don't have to do what he say. He plays for them.
I agree.
He plays for them. And the Nets, from a respect standpoint, the league is watching what they do.
Of course.
They're watching.
Of course.
Because, come on, you don't, just because he says it, so what? You're under contract.
You don't want to be blackballed by the league.
You don't want to be blackballed by the league. Who cares if he says that?
I met recently, Mahmoud Abdurraouf.
Oh,
I met him here in Dallas.
Yeah?
It was nice.
Nice
Yeah.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool guy.
I always respected him when he wouldn't stand for the national anthem because those are his beliefs. But then, financially, it started catching up to him
I mean, he got blackballed. He got
because he got fined.
No team was. Not,
But then I think they agreed to him standing and him going like this during the national anthem.
I don't remember what happened, but I feel like what I read was it blackballed him from the league and teams didn't want to sign him.
Yeah, see, that's.
But now he's still out here in the Big Three because Big Three's happened here in Dallas.
Oh.
He's still making. He's doing great, man.
But even back then, I respected him for that because that's and just to go back to that, I don't know if you heard of Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, of course.
Sandy Koufax is a great pitcher who happens to be Jewish.
Yeah.
In his contract, this is a fact. In his contract, he was able to be off on Jewish holidays.
Amazing.
He put that in his contract.
Amazing, yeah.
And I respect that. So the point to segue back into Mahmoud Raouf, that should have been structured. That should have been because I don't know if we want to call it a sick day or not.
Right.
But there should be something structured in the contract where, again, not to stand for the national anthem, but maybe to give him a lot of time to pray or a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can do that for Sandy Koufax, you can do that for him too. And I don't think he should have been penalized for not standing. But at the same time, does him standing, does that mean that he's representing? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a gray area. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
For me, it's unfortunate. I don't think it should have affected his basketball career.
It shouldn't
because this is like now the intertwining of politics, faith, work, sports, passion.
And it just shouldn't.
And now in this era, I don't think anybody would care, right? Like he would be able to not stand.
Not stand.
But this shows you how generations react to different gestures differently, right?
Exactly. And you respect him because he paved the way for this time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
He paved the way for this time because now I'm sure there's some people who didn't want to stand before.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm not standing. But okay. So I remember it was back in the days, and I was But then they started calculating with the fines.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I mean, all right, do you You know, he had to make a decision, and I was all right with that too.
So that's our free agency talk, guys, with a little bit more, but